In the icy lands of the South Pole, there lived a plucky penguin named Pete. Pete was unlike the other penguins in his colony. While they were content to waddle along the frozen shores, Pete dreamed of exploring the vast, icy wilderness beyond. One frosty morning, as Pete was gazing out at the shimmering horizon, he spotted a distant mountain peak rising majestically against the clear blue sky. Determination ignited in Pete's heart as he vowed to reach the summit, no matter the challenges that lay ahead. With each step forward, Pete encountered icy winds and treacherous crevasses that threatened to halt his journey. But he pressed on, his determination unwavering, his heart filled with courage. As he climbed higher and higher, Pete faced even greater obstacles, towering cliffs and sheer rock faces that seemed insurmountable. But he refused to give up, his perseverance driving him ever onward. At last, after days of tireless climbing, Pete reached the summit of the mountain. With a triumphant cry, he gazed out at the breathtaking vista below, his heart soaring with pride. But as Pete began his descent, disaster struck. A sudden blizzard swept in, engulfing the mountain in a swirling mass of snow and ice. Lost and disoriented, Pete struggled to find his way back down. Yet, through the howling winds and biting cold, Pete persisted, his determination guiding him through the whiteout. With each step forward, he drew closer to safety, his courage shining like a beacon in the darkness. And finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Pete emerged from the storm, battered but unbroken. With a weary smile, he trudged back to his colony, his heart filled with the satisfaction of knowing that he had conquered the mountain and returned home victorious. From that day forward, Pete was known as the persevering penguin, a true hero of the South Pole. And as he waddled along the frozen shores, his head held high, he knew that no challenge was too great for a brave heart and a determined spirit. In the rugged cliffs of a distant mountain range, there lived a valiant vulture named Victor. Victor was unlike any other vulture in his flock. While they scavenged for scraps of food, Victor yearned for adventure beyond the confines of their rocky home. One day, as Victor soared high above the jagged peaks, he spotted a distant land shimmering on the horizon. Determination sparked in his eyes as he set his sights on this unknown territory, his heart pulsing with the call of adventure. With a mighty flap of his wings, Victor set off on his daring voyage, leaving behind the safety of his mountain home. As he soared over vast deserts and dense forests, he encountered all manner of obstacles, fierce storms, towering cliffs, and even hostile creatures. But Victor pressed on, his courage unwavering, his spirit unbreakable. With each challenge he faced, he grew stronger and more determined, his eyes fixed firmly on the distant horizon. At last, after many days of tireless flying, Victor reached the land he had seen from afar. It was a land of lush green valleys and sparkling rivers, teeming with life and possibility. But as Victor began to explore this new land, he soon discovered that it was not without its own dangers. A fearsome dragon had been terrorizing the inhabitants, destroying their homes and stealing their treasure. Filled with a sense of duty and honor, Victor knew that he could not stand idly by while others suffered. With a fierce cry, he swooped down to confront the dragon, his wings beating with the strength of 100 hurricanes. The dragon roared in defiance, its fiery breath scorching the earth below. But Victor was undaunted. With swift and agile movements, he dodged the dragon's attacks, his courage burning brighter than the sun. In a mighty clash of wings and claws, Victor battled the dragon with all his might. With each strike, he drew closer to victory, his determination unwavering, his bravery unmatched. And in the end, it was Victor's valiant spirit that prevailed. With a final swoop, he delivered a decisive blow to the dragon, sending it fleeing into the depths of the mountains. The inhabitants of the land cheered and celebrated Victor as their hero, showering him with gratitude and praise. From that day forward, he was known as the valiant vulture, the fearless protector of the land. And as Victor soared back to his mountain home, his heart filled with pride, he knew that no challenge was too great for a brave heart and a courageous spirit. In the sparkling waters of a vast ocean, there lived a determined dolphin named Daphne. Daphne was unlike any other dolphin in her pod. While they frolicked and played in the waves, Daphne dreamed of exploring the mysterious depths below. One day, as Daphne leaped and twirled through the waves, she spotted a dark and shadowy chasm looming in the distance. Intrigued by the unknown depths below, she felt a stirring in her heart, a longing to dive deeper than she ever had before. With a determined flick of her tail, Daphne set off on her brave adventure, leaving behind the safety of her pod. As she swam deeper and deeper into the chasm, she encountered all manner of obstacles, swirling currents, hidden caverns, and eerie creatures lurking in the darkness. But Daphne pressed on, her courage unwavering, her spirit unbreakable. With each obstacle she faced, she grew stronger and more determined, her eyes fixed firmly on the mysterious depths below. At last, after many twists and turns, Daphne reached the bottom of the chasm. It was a world unlike anything she had ever seen, a realm of shimmering coral reefs and colorful sea creatures, teeming with life and wonder. But as Daphne began to explore this new world, she soon discovered that it was not without its own dangers. A fearsome sea serpent had been terrorizing the inhabitants, threatening to destroy their homes and devour them whole. Filled with a sense of duty and honor, Daphne knew that she could not stand idly by while others suffered. With a determined flick of her tail, she swam forth to confront the sea serpent, her heart pulsing with bravery and determination. The sea serpent roared in defiance, its mighty coils thrashing through the water. But Daphne was undaunted. With graceful movements and lightning-fast reflexes, she dodged the serpent's attacks, her courage shining brighter than the sun. In a mighty clash of fins and teeth, Daphne battled the sea serpent with all her might. With each strike, she drew closer to victory, her determination unwavering, her bravery unmatched. And in the end, it was Daphne's determined spirit that prevailed. With a final leap, she delivered a decisive blow to the sea serpent, sending it fleeing into the depths of the ocean. The inhabitants of the coral reefs cheered and celebrated Daphne as their hero, showering her with gratitude and praise. From that day forward, she was known as the determined dolphin, the fearless protector of the ocean depths. And as Daphne swam back to her pod, her heart filled with pride, she knew that no challenge was too great for a brave heart and a determined spirit. Once upon a time, in a dense forest nestled between towering mountains, there lived a bold and adventurous bear named Benny. Benny was known far and wide for his bravery and daring spirit, always eager to embark on new and exciting quests. One sunny morning, as Benny was wandering through the forest, he stumbled upon a group of woodland creatures gathered in distress. They explained that a wicked sorcerer had cast a dark spell over the land, plunging it into eternal darkness. The animals were filled with fear and despair, unsure of how to break the sorcerer's curse. But Benny, with his heart as big as his courage, stepped forward and declared, "Fear not, my friends. I will embark on a brave quest to defeat the sorcerer and restore light to our forest." The other animals exchanged worried glances. "But Benny," they said, "the sorcerer's magic is powerful and dangerous. How can you hope to defeat him?" But Benny was undeterred. With a brave heart and unwavering determination, he set off into the heart of the darkness, his eyes shining with courage. As he journeyed deeper into the forest, Benny encountered many trials and tribulations along the way. He battled fierce beasts, traversed treacherous terrain, and faced countless challenges that tested his strength and resolve. But through it all, Benny pressed on, his determination never faltering. He knew that the fate of the forest depended on his bravery and courage. At last, Benny reached the sorcerer's lair, a dark and foreboding castle nestled atop a jagged cliff. With a steady breath, he stepped inside, his heart pounding with anticipation. The sorcerer, a wicked figure cloaked in shadows, sneered at Benny's bravery. "Do you truly believe you can defeat me, little bear?" he taunted, his voice echoing through the halls. But Benny stood tall, his eyes ablaze with determination. "I may be small," he said, "but I have the courage of a lion and the heart of a hero. I will not let you bring darkness to our land." With a mighty roar, Benny charged at the sorcerer, his bravery shining like a beacon in the darkness. The sorcerer unleashed his dark magic, but Benny was quick and nimble, dodging his attacks with ease. And in the end, it was Benny's courage that triumphed over evil. With a final blow, he vanquished the sorcerer and shattered the darkness that had enveloped the forest. The animals cheered and celebrated Benny as their hero, showering him with gratitude and praise. From that day forward, he was known as Bold Bear, the brave protector of the forest. And as he basked in the warm glow of his victory, Benny knew that no matter how dark the path may seem, with courage and bravery, light will always prevail. In a shimmering pond nestled deep within the heart of the forest, there lived a small and unassuming frog named Freddie. Freddie was unlike any other frog in the pond. While his fellow amphibians were content to stay within the safety of the water, Freddie longed for adventure beyond the pond's edge. One moonlit night, as the stars twinkled in the sky above, Freddie found himself gazing longingly at the dark expanse of the forest beyond the pond. A fierce curiosity stirred within him, and he knew that he could no longer resist the call of the unknown. With a fearless leap, Freddie ventured out into the forest, his heart pounding with excitement and anticipation. Along the way, he encountered all manner of creatures, from wise old owls to playful squirrels, each with their own tales of bravery and adventure. But as Freddie journeyed deeper into the forest, he soon came upon a clearing where a group of woodland animals had gathered in fear. A fearsome wolf had been terrorizing the forest, preying upon the smaller creatures and leaving destruction in its wake. Though Freddy's heart raced with fear, he knew that he could not turn back now. Summoning all his courage, he stepped forward and declared, "I will put an end to this tyranny and protect the forest and all who dwell within it." The other animals exchanged worried glances. "But Freddy," they said, "you're just a frog. How can you hope to defeat a wolf?" But Freddy was undeterred. With a brave heart and unwavering determination, he set off into the depths of the forest, his eyes shining with determination. As he neared the wolf's den, Freddy could feel the hairs on the back of his neck standing on end. But he pressed on, his heart filled with courage. At last, he reached the wolf's den, where the fearsome creature lay in wait, its eyes gleaming with hunger. Without hesitation, Freddy launched himself at the wolf, his small frame pulsing with determination. The wolf snarled and lunged at Freddy, but the fearless frog was quick and nimble, dodging its attacks with ease. With each leap and bound, Freddy fought with all his might, refusing to back down. And in the end, it was Freddy's bravery that won the day. With a final leap, he sent the wolf fleeing from the forest, never to return again. The other animals cheered and celebrated Freddy as their hero, showering him with gratitude and praise. From that day forward, Freddy was known as Fearless Frog, the fearless protector of the forest. And as he hopped back to the pond, his heart swelling with pride, he knew that no matter how small you may be, bravery will always light the way. In the heart of a picturesque meadow, there lived a lively and determined rabbit named Rosie. Rosie was known far and wide for her boundless energy and indomitable spirit. She loved nothing more than racing through the fields, her ears flopping in the breeze and her heart pounding with excitement. One sunny day, as Rosie was practicing her sprinting skills, she heard whispers of a grand race taking place in the nearby forest. The competition promised to be fierce, with animals from all corners of the land coming together to test their speed and agility. Despite her small stature, Rosie's competitive spirit burned bright. With a determined gleam in her eye, she knew she had to join the race and prove herself as the fastest runner in the meadow. But as Rosie made her way to the forest, she encountered a series of challenges along the way. Thick brambles blocked her path, and treacherous streams threatened to slow her down. Yet with each obstacle, Rosie pressed on, her determination unyielding. Finally, she arrived at the starting line of the race, where a crowd of eager spectators had gathered to watch the competition unfold. Among them stood creatures of all shapes and sizes, from swift-footed deer to nimble squirrels, each one ready to put their speed to the test. As the race began, Rosie felt her heart racing with excitement. With lightning-fast reflexes, she darted through the forest, her legs pumping with all her might. Despite the fierce competition, she remained focused on the finish line, determined to claim victory. But just as Rosie was nearing the end of the race, disaster struck. A sudden gust of wind sent a tree crashing down onto the path, blocking her way forward. With the other racers hot on her tail, Rosie faced a choice: give up and accept defeat, or find a way to overcome the obstacle and continue the race. Summoning all her courage and resilience, Rosie sprang into action. With nimble leaps and agile maneuvers, she navigated her way around the fallen tree, determined not to let anything stand in her way. And in the end, it was Rosie's unwavering determination and resilience that carried her across the finish line. The crowd erupted into cheers as she crossed the threshold, her heart soaring with triumph. From that day forward, Rosie was hailed as the resilient rabbit, a true hero of the meadow. And as she basked in the glow of her victory, she knew that no matter what challenges life may bring, with courage and determination, anything is possible. Once upon a time, in a lush meadow nestled between two rolling hills, there lived a timid bunny named Benny. Benny spent his days hopping around the meadow, nibbling on clover and dandelions. But deep down, he longed for adventure. One bright morning, as Benny was exploring the edge of the meadow, he spotted a group of woodland creatures gathered around a large oak tree. Curiosity piqued, Benny hopped closer to see what was happening. To his surprise, the animals were in distress. A mischievous fox had been terrorizing the forest, stealing food and causing chaos wherever he went. The animals were too scared to confront the fox, and they feared for their safety. Despite his timid nature, Benny couldn't bear to see his friends in trouble. With a determined thump of his foot, he declared, "I will stop the fox and bring peace back to the forest." The other animals exchanged worried glances. "But Benny," they said, "you're just a bunny. How can you hope to defeat a fox?" But Benny was undeterred. With a brave heart and unwavering determination, he set off into the depths of the forest, determined to face the fox and protect his friends. As Benny journeyed deeper into the forest, he encountered many obstacles along the way. He dodged thorny bushes, leaped over fallen logs, and tiptoed past slumbering bears. But through it all, he remained steadfast in his mission. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Benny reached the fox's den. With a deep breath, he crept closer, his heart pounding in his chest. The fox spotted Benny and grinned wickedly. "Well, well, what do we have here?" he sneered. "A little bunny foolish enough to challenge me?" But Benny stood tall, his ears perked and his eyes shining with determination. "I may be small," he said, "but I have the courage of a lion and the heart of a hero. I won't let you harm my friends any longer." With a fierce battle cry, Benny launched himself at the fox, surprising him with his bravery and determination. The fox tried to fight back, but Benny was quick and nimble, dodging his attacks with ease. In the end, it was Benny's bravery that won the day. With a mighty leap, he sent the fox running from the forest, never to return again. The other animals cheered and celebrated Benny as their hero. Though he may have been small, he had proven that true courage knows no bounds. From that day forward, Benny was known as Brave Bunny, the fearless protector of the forest. And as he hopped back to the meadow, he knew that no matter how big or small you are, bravery will always lead you to victory. In a cozy corner of the forest, beneath the shelter of a thicket, there lived a little hedgehog named Hazel. Hazel was small and shy, but she had a heart as brave as a lion's. One sunny morning, as Hazel was out gathering berries for her breakfast, she heard panicked squeaks coming from a nearby clearing. Hurrying over, she found a group of woodland creatures huddled together, trembling with fear. "What's wrong?" Hazel asked, her voice quivering with concern. The animals explained that a fierce wildfire had broken out in the forest, spreading rapidly and threatening to consume everything in its path. They were too scared to confront the flames, and they didn't know what to do. Hazel's heart sank at the sight of her friends in distress, but she knew she couldn't just stand by and watch. With a determined flick of her spines, she declared, "I will save the forest and all who dwell within it." The other animals exchanged worried glances. "But Hazel," they said, "you're just a hedgehog. How can you hope to stop a wildfire?" But Hazel was undeterred. With a brave heart and unwavering determination, she set off into the heart of the blaze, her spines bristling with courage. As she neared the flames, Hazel could feel the heat washing over her, threatening to engulf her tiny frame. But she pressed on, weaving through the burning underbrush with agility and grace. At last, she reached the heart of the fire, where the flames raged with the ferocity of a dragon's breath. Without hesitation, Hazel began to dig furiously at the ground, creating a barrier to halt the fire's advance. The other animals watched in amazement as Hazel worked tirelessly, her determination never wavering. And slowly but surely, her efforts began to pay off. With each shovel of dirt, the flames grew weaker, until at last they flickered and died. The forest was saved, thanks to Hazel's bravery and quick thinking. The other animals cheered and celebrated her as their hero, showering her with gratitude and praise. From that day forward, Hazel was known as Heroic Hedgehog, the fearless protector of the forest. And as she curled up in her thicket that night, surrounded by the warm glow of her friends' gratitude, she knew that no matter how small you may be, bravery will always shine bright. Once upon a time, in the heart of a lush green forest, there lived a little lion cub named Leo. Leo wasn't like the other lions in his pride. While they were strong and mighty, Leo was small and timid. His roar was barely a squeak compared to the thunderous roars of his elders. One sunny morning, as Leo was playing near the edge of the forest, he heard distressed cries coming from deeper within the woods. Curiosity piqued. Leo followed the sound until he stumbled upon a clearing where a group of animals had gathered in fear. At the center of the commotion stood a fierce dragon, its scales shimmering in the sunlight. The dragon had been terrorizing the forest, demanding food and treasure from the animals in exchange for their safety. But the animals had nothing left to give, and their fear kept them paralyzed. Leo's heart raced with fear, but he knew he couldn't just stand by and watch. Summoning every ounce of courage he had, he stepped forward and let out a feeble roar, hoping to distract the dragon. To Leo's surprise, the dragon turned its attention towards him, amused by the little lion's bravery. "What do we have here?" the dragon bellowed, its voice echoing through the forest. A tiny lion with a tiny roar. But Leo refused to back down. With newfound determination, he stood tall and let out another roar, louder and fiercer than before. Though still small, his roar was filled with courage and conviction. The dragon, taken aback by Leo's bravery, paused for a moment before bursting into laughter. "You think you can challenge me, little lion?" it scoffed. "I could crush you with a single breath." But Leo stood his ground, refusing to be intimidated. "I may be small," he said, but I have a big heart and the courage to stand up for what's right." Impressed by Leo's spirit, the other animals began to rally behind him, offering their support and encouragement. Together, they devised a plan to outsmart the dragon and drive it away from the forest for good. With Leo leading the way, they launched their attack, using their wit and bravery to outmaneuver the dragon at every turn. And in the end, it was Leo's fearless roar that sent the dragon fleeing in terror, never to return to the forest again. From that day forward, Leo was hailed as a hero among the animals of the forest. Though he may have been small, his courage and bravery had proven that true heroes come in all shapes and sizes. And as for Leo, he had learned that sometimes the bravest adventures are undertaken not by the mightiest warriors, but by those with the courage to stand up for what they believe in, no matter how small they may be. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village nestled at the edge of a dense forest, there lived a curious and adventurous young girl named Sunny. With hair as golden as the sun and eyes as bright as the sky, Sunny was known far and wide for her brave spirit and kind heart. One sunny morning, while exploring the outskirts of the forest, Sunny stumbled upon a hidden path veiled by overgrown bushes and tangled vines. Intrigued by the mysterious trail, she decided to follow it, her heart pounding with excitement. As Sunny ventured deeper into the forest, she encountered all sorts of wondrous creatures, from playful squirrels to wise old owls. But just as she was beginning to lose herself in the beauty of the wilderness, she heard a faint cry for help echoing through the trees. Following the sound, Sunny soon came upon a clearing where a group of woodland animals had gathered in fear. Standing at the center was a ferocious bear, its massive frame casting a shadow over the trembling creatures. With courage burning in her heart, Sunny stepped forward, determined to help. "What's the matter?" she asked, her voice steady despite her fear. The animals explained that the bear, known as Grizzler, had been terrorizing the forest, demanding food and shelter from the smaller animals in exchange for their safety. But now, Grizzler had grown even more aggressive, threatening to destroy their homes if they didn't comply with his demands. Sunny's heart swelled with compassion for the frightened creatures. She knew she had to do something to help them, no matter how daunting the task. Summoning all her courage, Sunny approached Grizzler, her eyes blazing with determination. "You may be big and strong," she said, "but that doesn't give you the right to bully others." Grizzler snarled, towering over Sunny with a menacing glare. "And what do you plan to do about it, little girl?" he growled. But Sunny stood her ground, refusing to be intimidated. "I may be small," she said, "but I have the courage to stand up for what's right." With that, Sunny devised a clever plan to outsmart Grizzler and free the forest from his tyranny. With the help of her newfound animal friends, they lured Grizzler into a trap, using their wit and bravery to outmaneuver him at every turn. In the end, it was Sunny's unwavering courage and determination that saved the day. Grizzler was banished from the forest, never to threaten its inhabitants again. From that day forward, Sunny was hailed as a hero among the creatures of the forest. Though she may have been small, her bravery had proven that true heroes come in all shapes and sizes. And as for Sunny, she continued to embark on many more adventures in the forest, spreading kindness and joy wherever she went. for she knew that with a brave heart and a willing spirit, anything was possible.